The first person that you need to learn to respect is yourself. Respecting yourself will give you the strength to be assertive with women. Many guys have a hard time accepting or loving themselves. The result of this attitude is to want to seek out others, especially women, in order to get approval or to feel loved. In the end, this is only a temporary fix. Learning to respect yourself and to build your self-esteem is the permanent fix. Many self-help gurus teach people to think about the positive things in order to have people build their self-esteem. I disagree with this. See, when people have esteem issues, they tend to be brought on by the person criticizing themselves and beating themselves up for their own flaws and failures. I think the best way to handle this is to be direct. You need to be able to think of all your flaws, faults, limitations, and failures, accept them, forgive yourself, let it go, and love yourself despite your flaws. Realize you have them, and you still deserve to be happy anyways. Once you've learned to appreciate yourself, you need to define boundaries for yourself. Figure out what kinds of behaviors that you think are permissible or reasonable for people to utilize towards you. Also, think about what kinds of behaviors that you won't tolerate from people whatsoever. Then, you will need to figure out how you will act towards people who violate your boundaries. I would suggest you take a calm, assertive, straightforward, and honest approach when dealing with people who violate your boundaries. Let me give you an example. Let's say this girl you really like tells you she is broke, and she really wants you to drive her around, treat her to dinner and drinks, and take her shopping. She might be taking advantage of you. It is preferable for you to tell her no in a calm, direct, but kind manner. Respect is not only necessary to build a strong, healthy ego and to preserve it by protecting yourself from others' disrespect, but it is also necessary for you to show respect to others as well. One of the rules I personally believe in is that you must give respect to get respect. Now, this isn't always the case, as some people will try to disrespect you regardless, but if you disrespect everyone, then most people will have none for you, unless, maybe, if you are really good at intimidating people. Just like you have flaws, faults, failures, and limitations, so does everybody else. Many people even have unhealthy self-esteem, are constantly wondering about what people think, and show their insecurities in different ways. Some people are needy and approval seeking, others are arrogant or aggressive acting. The bottom line is that nobody is perfect. Although it's very easy to judge people for behavior that you don't approve of, I urge you to treat them humane and compassionately face to face. You don't know why they act the way they do. Also, regarding women, women go through different social programming than men do, especially regarding sex and gender roles. Try to be understanding about the place that the person you are dealing with is coming from by using tact and staying calm while still maintaining your position and boundaries. As for boundaries, make sure you respect others' boundaries. If a girl doesn't want to have sex with you or isn't interested in you romantically, then no means no. Accept it and move on. When dating women, make sure their boundaries are consistent with your own. If she is saving sex until marriage and you want to fuck on the first date, then it probably won't work out. I believe that honesty and respect make up the core of your integrity. That being said, I feel that you need to have rules to define how you act and how you will allow yourself to be treated. Now, boundaries are rules that govern how we allow others to behave towards us. These rules define what they can and cannot do. Like we discussed before, your self-respect defines these boundaries or rules. Along with defining rules to protect yourself from being violated, hurt, played, or taken advantage of by others, you also need rules for yourself to define your own conduct. The reason you need rules to protect yourself from yourself is because many times we sabotage our own success by letting different factors of our own human nature get in our way. For instance, some guys really want to get good with women, but instead of going for what they want, they procrastinate, fail to make time, get lazy, and make excuses to rationalize not going for what they want. Since they don't have rules for themselves, they have nothing to help themselves to hold themselves accountable. Going back to our example, we can find that we need to make rules to be centered around what we want. As we talked about in the first week, everything we do first begins with the knowledge of what we want. Therefore, once you are honest with what you want, you have to make rules to protect yourself from what you don't want, and also to keep yourself on track for going after what you do want. All of your rules, principles, and actions should focus on what you want. There is a very good, very specific reason for creating and having rules, and that is to avoid what's in store for us for not having them or following them. Whether you like it or not, there will be consequences for breaking your rules or willingly allowing others to violate your boundaries. Even if you don't see any short-term repercussions, there inevitably will be long-term ones. Karma's a bitch. Let's discuss short-sightedness in regards to dealing with women. Many men allow themselves to be short-sighted when dealing with women, and throw away their principles and self-respect if they think they will get a short-term benefit, usually sex. I'm sure you've seen guys that allow women to push them around and call all the shots. The problem to this short-sightedness is obvious. These guys are lucky to get what they want at all, in this case sex. I guess that's why they call it getting lucky. The point is, when dealing with women, if you sacrifice your self-respect, break your rules, and allow women to walk all over you, then you will rarely get that short-term benefit you want, and you will have negative consequences as well. In other words, don't be short-sighted. Stick to your principles, and you will get what you want in the long run. One practical tool you can use to keep you on track with your rules is to create some self-imposed consequences for breaking them. The logic is that if you have harsh self-imposed consequences, then you will make sure to follow your own rules, if even just to avoid your own punishments.